So you probably clicked on this video because you're wondering, is this Whoop strap really worth the $200 you have to pay for it? Well, you came to the right video. I got you. What up YouTube fam, Jay Royce back with another video, gym bro, tech guy, lifestyle creator. Now in today's video, I'll be going in an in-depth review of my experience with the Whoop 4.0. My goal with this video is to give you guys as much information about my experience with the Whoop so you guys can decide whether the Whoop is right for you. Now, today's video is not about the accuracy of the Whoop or all of the measurements it takes or anything like that. There's tons of other videos you can check out about how the science and all that goes into this. This is more a video about my experience and who I think the Whoop is actually for. Now, at the end of the video, if you decide the Whoop is right for you, there'll be a link in the description down below that'll get me, and more importantly, you, an additional month of the Whoop subscription. So definitely check that out if you try out the Whoop. With that being said, let's just get right into the video.
So just getting right into the video, guys, this is the package that the Whoop comes in. Really simple, nothing to see here. Let's just get in. So here's a top-down view of the box for you guys. Looks really nice, and I try to open it and fail. All right, but let's keep it moving. Obviously, we're not going to let that stop us. So you open this, really nice packaging, really small. As you can see, the Whoop comes on the right there with a little bit of a manual. We'll zoom into the Whoop a little bit. Obviously, nice packaging. They give you the black on black as the default, as well as a little setup guide. Of course, threw that away, didn't read it. Here's the battery. I'm going to show you guys that. It's a little puck. Really nice, clean, you know, aesthetically pleasing packaging, as well as a charger. And that's basically it. So that's the packaging. All right, now let's get into my likes. And goodbye.
Now, we're going to be getting into my personal likes of the Whoop strap. And of course, the first place we got to start is with the sleep tracking. The sleep tracking was awesome. It shows you these beautiful graphs of your awake, light sleep, deep sleep, and I'm just going to show you guys a little bit about that in the app on your screen now.
This is the main sleep performance tab, as you guys can see on the screen here. It rates your sleep as a percentage versus hours of sleep versus sleep needed. Then you scroll down, you see some metrics of some sleep statistics, hours of sleep, sleep needed, time in bed, restorative sleep. And then if you continue to scroll down further, you get some of your averages in each of this individual categories, whether it's from day to day or over the past 30 days. But once you click into the sleep tab, this is where you get the really big breakdown of each of the individual cycles of sleep that you're in. As you can see, your light, your deep, your REM sleep, as well as your awake at the top there. But you can get a really in-depth view of each of the different sleep cycles you went through throughout the night, which is really, really cool, as well as some other sleep metrics down at the bottom there. Now, I thought this feature was really cool, and it was really interesting to me to learn more about my sleep cycles.
And the second thing that I personally like about the Whoop 4.0 strap is the haptic alarm. Now, if you have a tough time waking up, such as myself, I'm sure you've looked at a million alternatives of types of alarms, whether that's a sunlight alarm, your phone, you know, bells, whistles, all this other stuff, but I think the haptic feedback is my favorite so far. So what you do is you actually set the time you want to wake up in the Whoop app, and this little thing will actually vibrate once you're awake, and it'll make this and I think that's my favorite alarm clock that I've come across up until this point. But not only does it wake you up with that haptic feedback, but the way you can set up the alarm is actually pretty intuitive. Let's take a look in the app.
Okay, now we're in the alarm function of the app. So basically why I thought this was really cool is because it gives you 3 different alarm modes. Exact time, which wakes you up, let's say at 6 a.m. Sleep goal, which if you click into it, you have 3 different levels of get by, perform, or peak. And depending on which one you choose, it'll set the time that you need to go to bed and then wake you up within an hour variation of whenever you hit that goal. And the last one is in the green. So if you hit that one, it'll do the same thing, but it will actually only wake you up once you've reached your specific in the green recovery time, which can vary between like 67 to 85, you know, it'll vary. But the way that you can control this is so intuitive, and it was one of the biggest things that I liked about this app.
Now, one drawback I did have that I thought I read somewhere is that the Whoop can kind of detect in your light sleep where the best time to wake you up is, But if I set a range of like 5 to 6 o'clock to wake up, I felt like the Whoop was always just waking me up closer to 6 o'clock, if not at 6 o'clock. But other than that, you have a lot of manipulation ability to create the best wake up schedule for yourself. And the third thing that I think, and honestly one of the biggest reasons I think Whoop has been able to become so successful, is because the app is beautiful, it's sleek, it's easy to use, it's simple yet complex. It offers a ton of functionality in terms of showing you the graphs, creating these PDF reports of all of your logged usage. There's a ton of activities to choose from, and overall it's just a really robust and beautiful app. It's very simple, not confusing, and I just really liked the user interface of the app. And the last thing I liked about the Whoop strap, guys, is it just looks sick. I feel like a super athlete when I'm wearing this thing out and about. I feel like I train harder than you, I'm better than you, I'm a super athlete, I'm in the league. People looking at me like, oh, what sport does he play? Like, who is that guy? That's literally how I feel when I put this on. Like, that may not be the actual truth, but I will say it does feel sick, and it's kind of like a status symbol of like, I take my training more serious than you. Obviously that's not going to be a positive for everybody, but like selfishly, that's one thing that I did kind of enjoy about the Whoop strap. Now, there was a ton of things I liked about the Whoop strap, but there are some big dislikes that I had with the Whoop. Now, the first one is the form factor. Obviously, there was no other way for them to really put this into another form factor to make it as convenient as possible, maybe besides a ring. I'll talk about that later. But there are a few drawbacks to having this wrist device. Now, the first thing is, as a fashion accessory, this is terrible. Like, I hate walking around like this. I look silly. I don't care what color you get. I don't care how much you try to dress this up. This is not fashionable. On top of that, for my ladies out there or people who wear bracelets and other things, like I like to wear a watch, but I can't put anything on this wrist because it then gets caught up in it and just looks weird. So I don't like that aspect of it as well. Another thing, for all my athletes out there or anybody that's going to be doing like physical exercise with this, which is majority of you because that's one of the biggest selling points, it's going to get caught or be a problem with wrist wraps, wrist straps. When I was golfing, I would swing and it would fly up my wrist, like messing with my swing. So there is some drawbacks to having this device on your wrist. And another few things is, it's not crazy, but I do finding myself adjusting it a lot and switching it from my right arm to my left arm to kind of offset it being on one arm or the other for so long. As well as while sleeping, it does take about a week to getting used to, as well as if you like to sleep on your side or kind of move your arms by your head, it can get pretty annoying throughout the night. So those are just some things that I hate about it being a wrist device. And the second thing that was kind of a big personal dislike for me was checking my phone right when I wake up. Now, if you're into sleeping and kind of like having a morning routine, it's like common knowledge, I guess you could say, that it's better to not check your phone right when you wake up and try to delay that as long as possible and get like a good morning routine. Like, don't check your phone for the first hour of the day. But what I was finding out was that I wanted to wake up and just see exactly how I slept and maybe lose a little bit in touch of like how I'm actually feeling and just looking for that external validation of that I'm actually getting rest, and I need the phone to like tell me that, which would also lead me getting into other apps and kind of just laying in my bed being on my phone instead of getting my morning routine started and my day started and just skipping that completely and maybe not having as a productive day. So if you have some more discipline than that, maybe you won't experience this as a downside, but for me, I think that was something that I really didn't like about being so connected to how I was sleeping. And a third dislike that I personally had about the Whoop strap was the fact that you had to clean the Whoop strap. And the reason this is a dislike for me personally is because the more steps you have to add into the maintenance of these things, the less likely you are to continue to wear it. You know, you're gonna take it off, put it down, say I'll clean it later, and then it just kind of becomes another task that is added to our already busy lives. So you can buy an additional strap, but that in itself is already a dislike because now you have to spend more money to enjoy the product, and those straps aren't cheap. My advice to you is to have like a workout strap and then like a going out strap, but like I said, that does come at a cost. May be a little nitpicky to you guys, but for me personally, just something that I wanted to mention as a dislike. That was the end of my personal opinions on the likes and dislikes of the Whoop, and now we're just gonna get into some general positive things. And the first thing is battery. Battery life on the Whoop strap was pretty good in my opinion. It lasted 3 to 4 days. I think Whoop markets a little longer than that, maybe like 5 to 7. I never got that, but I'm not a battery nut. I didn't feel like I had to charge it all the time, and I felt like I got a decent amount of use out of it considering it's on all the time. Now, the second thing that I really liked about the battery is that they give you this little puck right here. So you charge this, and then you actually just slide it on the wrist, and it charges like this. Now, the reason this is such a smart design is so that you don't ever have to take the Whoop strap off and then forget to actually put the Whoop strap back on. So this is a really clever design that I liked about Whoop, but I can definitely see some of us losing this because it is small and another thing to keep track of. Not a downside to me, but I can definitely see you having to replace this, and that might cost you a little extra money. So overall, battery life was pretty good. And the second thing that I would mention that is a general positive about the Whoop strap is the fit. So in terms of a fit, it is a really comfortable fit. The material that it comes with on the stock band is nice, and there's even an Ultra Luxe that you can go buy as well. But in terms of comfortability, it doesn't bother me. Obviously, it gets some getting used to. And like I said earlier, it's not that the fit was frustrating me, but more so that it's an actual wristband instead of another wearable, potentially like a ring. But overall, it is way more comfortable than the Apple Watch, which I think a lot of people may have. The Apple Watch has like this half dome thing, whereas the Whoop is more curved to like the top of your forearm. So it's definitely a lot more comfortable fit. Obviously, you're gonna have to adjust it here and there, but overall as fit, I think it's a pretty comfortable wearable. Now, something that I would mention that I thought was pretty cool about Whoop is that they actually make clothing specific wearables. So what that means, as you can see here, is you can go on the Whoop website and buy like shirts or boxers or like waterproof sleeves so that you can put the Whoop strap in these specifically designed clothes and you're still able to get the tracking that the Whoop provides, but it doesn't have to be on your wrist. Now, me personally, I don't know if I'd ever have the necessity to go buy these things. I may try it out once here or there, but this definitely isn't a necessity for everybody. But if you swim, maybe play basketball and like jiu-jitsu, I can see it being useful for you guys. Or if you just want to give it a try, it is really cool. But for me personally, it's not something that I would use or be that attracted to. And lastly, guys, one of the really cool features that got updated on my last month trial of the Whoop strap was a workout tracker where you can actually track each individual exercise and set, and the Whoop will give you a feedback on how those different exercises stress or affect your body. Now, for the life of me, I tried to track a full workout in it and I just kept forgetting to use it. So I'm not gonna talk too much about that. Maybe there'll be some other YouTube videos that can talk about it, but it is a cool feature that if you want a workout tracker, the Whoop does offer that as well. Getting into kind of the last little section of the general be aware ofs or dislikes about the Whoop, one thing is that's kind of hard to not mention is the price. So Whoop's pricing is $399.99 for a 2-year commitment where you get the charger, the Whoop, the strap, and use of the app. That breaks down to about $16.63 per month, which is their most affordable option. They do have some other options, but I'm only gonna be talking about the most affordable option. Now, Whoop does have a trial period. When I got this, I actually paid $80 for a 3-month trial, and I think that is the perfect sweet spot for a trial to see if the Whoop is for you. But unfortunately, right after I got that deal, I think they dropped the trial period to only a month, and I think that might be too short of a time period to know if the Whoop is actually for you. And lastly, kind of a dislike that if you didn't pick this up, let me just clue you in, you have to wear the damn thing all the time. It's not gonna work if you take it off, or if you don't wear it 24/7, it's not gonna give you the most accurate data. So if you think that you're gonna be fiddling with this or taking it on and off or gonna forget to put it back on, let me save you the trouble. Do not buy this because it's not worth it. So yeah. Now that we have all of that information, who is the Whoop actually for? Well, I think personally it's for 3 really specific groups of people. Now, the first one is what I call the ultra athlete. Now, who is this? It's semi-professional, professional athletes, hybrid athletes, which weight train, run, triathletes, mixed martial arts. people who have really physically demanding lives, whether that's in sports or even just in work, like a construction worker, police officer, things like that. The reason I say that is because the Whoop gives you so much in-depth insight into how your body is performing and what factors are causing, better recovery, better stress levels, or what's hurting you, like alcohol or strain and things of that nature. Now, I'm a pretty active person. I weight train 4 to 5 days a week. I golf. But even for me, I feel like the Whoop gives me so much information that, one, is sometimes overwhelming or can be overwhelming for you, or two, it's just so much information that I almost don't even care to learn about and how it's affecting my body, which I can see happening for you as well. But for the ultra athlete, this can be something that could honestly be a game changer and make it worth it for you. Now, the second group who I think the Whoop strap is for the stat geek or the biohacker. Now, like most of us, let's assume you're not an ultramarathoner like David Goggins.
19! Big son!
But if you're a biohacker, or you really just want to see how the outside stimuli of your training, sleeping, and all of these other things affect your health, then this is for you. The Whoop will give you so much information that you can then take back to the field and try, whatever it is you need to change whatever metric you think you want to improve upon. But for most of us, this isn't going to be us. But if you know that's you, then this product is 100% for you. And the third group that I think the Whoop strap would be best for is someone looking for an all-in-one tracker with no screen. So what are the three things that are important? A sleep tracker, a workout tracker, and a health monitor. So with the addition of the workout tracker inside the Whoop app, the Whoop has basically become an Apple Watch without a screen. So if you're looking for like that all-in-one solution without the distractions of maybe an Apple Watch, the Whoop is the next best thing, and it's definitely for you. Now, let's get into who I think the Whoop is not for. The first group of people that I think the Whoop is not for is people who are just looking for a general health tracker and possibly a general sleep tracker. Now, what does that look like? If your exercise is just, taking your daily walks, walking around the block, maybe a workout class once a week, then I think the Whoop may be a little bit overkill for you, and there are some cheaper alternative options out there that you may already own. Things like the Apple Watch, a Fitbit, things of that nature, and there's a ton of other variations of these health trackers out on the market. But if you're not an athlete or really leaning into the data that the Whoop is giving you, then it's not really worth the money, and for that reason, if you're looking for that general health tracker, the Whoop is not for you. The second group of people the Whoop is not for is people who don't want to wear this forever. So if you don't see yourself making your Whoop your BFF and dressing it up and down with every outfit you got, don't even waste your time, because if it's not on you, it's not worth it. And the last group of people who I think the Whoop is not for is actually most people. Now, me personally, I like the Whoop, I like the tech behind it, and I like a lot of things about it. But if I had to make like a really general statement, I would say that for most people, the Whoop is not worth it. Unless you're tracking something very specific, or you have some extra cash and it doesn't break the budget for you, then I 100% believe the Whoop will help you and benefit you in a positive way. But for most people, I think that there's so much information that we just wouldn't be taking advantage of all of the knowledge, therefore making the price kind of steep and just not worth it in the long run. Now, let's go over my final thoughts on the Whoop strap. I really like the insights. I love the app. I felt sick wearing it, but I think I'm gonna be returning it after my 3-month trial with the Whoop strap. And the reason for that is I think there's just a better combination for me personally, which would be the Oura Ring and an Apple Watch. Now, why is that a better combo for me? Well, I hate the form factor of this, so I would get the Oura Ring for my sleep tracking, and they just got a big update that made it more accurate and closer to the Whoop 4.0. And I would use my Apple Watch like I do now to record my workouts. And I don't always love having something on me because I like to wear watches. So for my Apple Watch, I can just put it on for my workout and take it off, and then have the Oura Ring tracking all those other health metrics while I'm not wearing my Apple Watch. So for me, I think that is a way better combination. But Let me know down in the comments if this video made you guys decide to get the Whoop or to not get the Whoop. I want to hear your guys' feedback on if this was for you. I'm Jay Royce. Please consider smashing that subscribe button. I make these videos so you guys don't waste your money. But that's it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.